Okay, welcome back. We now have the one and only America's mayor, who I will tell you is working 20 hours a day to not simply defend the president, but really to close on this deal because we must do this for the Constitution and for the Republic. We're winning. Don't believe what you're seeing in the fake news. You can see the cracks. Dan Abrams, they see exactly what we're accomplishing here, and they're getting very concerned about these lawsuits, and particularly the affidavits that are showing up. And we're going to have the FEC chairman's interviews. We're going to pull some highlights from this. I want to go now to Rudy. First off, Rudy, why don't you just give people an overview of where do you think we stand going into the weekend, and then I want to talk to you specifically about Pennsylvania and in Michigan, where we have two court appearances that are coming up. What's your overall view? Are we winning right now or not?
I would say we're in a position to win. We don't really start winning until these cases start getting presented and they get on the way to a decision, which will be next week. But I mean, if you're asking me, is there enough material out there for a court to rule in our favor? The answer is yes. Right now, there's a major lawsuit in Pennsylvania that basically, if we're successful, would disqualify somewhere around 500,000 to 600,000 votes, most of which would be Biden votes, and he would win Pennsylvania. It requires about anywhere from 15 to 40 witnesses, depending on the judge and how much he wants and how much corroboration he wants. And basically, the core of it would be that all these ballots were submitted and never examined. It's as if nobody knows if any true actual person actually signed these ballots. The only thing we have left is the raw ballot. The identifying material has been removed from it. And since there is no number that puts them together, there's no way to find out. And they become immediately under Pennsylvania or unlawful ballots. If Pennsylvania agrees with that, or the upper court in Pennsylvania agrees with that, then that would take care of Pennsylvania. Michigan, I think Michigan's even worse than Pennsylvania because in addition to having that, you also have that incident where 100,000 votes were brought in the middle of the night. There were 3 witnesses to that. And actually some corroboration of people who saw trucks coming in. And I think we'll be able to prove that 100,000 ballots were brought in at 4 o'clock in the morning at the hall in Detroit. And we will be able to put witnesses on who will say that those ballots were all for Biden and that they had no other candidate on them. Well, that 100,000 ballots would have to be disqualified. And then you have, and in Detroit, we have an incredible group of witnesses, including a woman who worked for Detroit for 40 years, who was trained by the Detroit political people to cheat. She was actually put there to help cheat from the very beginning. When people came in to vote early, she would instruct them to vote Democratic and show them how to do it. When a person came to vote a second time, she would often go find a name in the registry book and give it and assign it to that person. And then she witnessed also the exclusion of all the Republicans from the counting. And then we have the 3 witnesses who saw the 100,000 ballots come in. We have the postal guy who had a back date, and the postal inspector came there, browbeat him, the postal inspector didn't know that the guy was taping him. And when you read the tape, you say to yourself, why is a postal inspector intimidating a guy so much like this? Is the union going that far for Biden? Those 2 cases are set to be heard next week. We're also preparing a case that'll be done hopefully today, certainly by tomorrow, in Nevada, in Arizona, and in Georgia. The Georgia case really is secondary to the recount now, just by nature of when they're going to occur. So the recount's going to really have a lot to do with how good a case Georgia becomes, because despite the fact that they're separate things, if you win the recount, you don't have to really worry about the case. And if you lose the recount, it's really hard to ask a state to kind of do it twice. We'll try, because there were real there's real fraud in Georgia, but I would count more than on Nevada and on Arizona. And that's the path to victory. And it's really proving that in each state there were ineligible ballots that overwhelm the margin of victory that Biden has. And in some of these cases, it's easy. I mean, the margins of victory are 41,000 votes, 50,000 votes. It's not as if we have to climb some incredible mountain.